Good morning, everyone. It is an amazing morning, and we thank you so much for all being here. I want to, first of all, I have not wrapped the gavel. The meeting has not officially begun because we need to do a little bit of logistics first. The recording of this meeting is now beginning. Please be aware that we are now on a recorded message. Secondly, in order to determine a voting quorum, we must do attendance of voting delegates of the executive board. Chapter voting delegates, enter your full name and chapter into the chat immediately if you have not already done so. Co-presidents are reminded that there is one vote per chapter, please. If you're not a voting delegate, please wait to engage in the use of the chat until after Betty Marshall presents the rules of our orders of the day. Thank you. If you are a voting delegate, please enter your name and your chapter into the chat immediately. Thank you. The meeting of the North Carolina Delta Kappa Gamma Executive Board will now come to order. Welcome to you all to the Fall 2020 Executive Board meeting. Every member counts, celebrating North Carolina Delta Kappa Gamma virtual event. Wow, that is a mouthful, but believe me, it is perfectly captures the spirit of the day. Over the past few months, I have talked often about someone called Mrs. Spitzer. She's our friendly gardener. I welcome you today with some words from the end of her book, words that speak to why we're here today. And here they are. As the seasons change, Mrs. Spitzer tends her garden. And then the year is over and her job is done. But the plants will keep growing, uncurling their stems, stretching their leaves outward, and showing their faces to the sun. Soon, another year will start. She will dust off her tools, till the soil, and a new garden will begin. As we move through today, please place yourself metaphorically in this gardener's shoes. Because as we acknowledge the year behind, let's not forget to look ahead in the year to come. So once again, I welcome you. The first thing I do want to do officially is say thank you to any past presidents that are in attendance. We thank you for your service, we thank you for your time, and we thank you for your dedication. We are also now pleased to introduce to you Betty Marshall, our parliamentarian, who will now present the rules of order for the day. Betty Marshall.
The orders of the day, the agenda as distributed shall constitute the orders of the day unless changes are requested and approved by the assembly. Please silence your phones and eliminate the background noise as much as possible. Comments or questions about officer or committee reports should be made only after the speaker has concluded her report. Any member desiring the floor shall use the chat box to address the presiding officer, typing Madam President, then your name and chapter in the chat box. Motions. A member who wishes to make a motion, upon being recognized, giving her name and chapter, places her motion into the chat, either using Zoom or live stream chat. The presiding officer, being aware of the motion, will call for a second. A member will enter the word second into the chat. Debate. When the presiding officer calls for discussion, debate will be entered through the chat box. A member typing her name and chapter in the chat box may provide input via the chat on a question for 2 minutes, may input only twice to the same question, and may not provide input to a question the second time until anyone who wishes to debate has been recognized and provided input. For voting, when the presiding officer calls for the vote, eligible voters will enter their vote via the Google form link that will be put into the chat. Thank you, Madam President.
And thank you, Betty. Thank you, Betty, for the rules of the day, orders of the day.
They need to be approved.
Good morning. Decades ago, women had hopes and dreams of becoming the best they could be, using an education as their vehicle to success. Our founders also believed in these hopes and dreams. Through very meticulous and methodical planning, they established this organization, Delta Kappa Gamma. Delta Kappa Gamma became a tool to validate our success in society. It showed our abilities to educate and to affirm our importance with mankind through works and deeds. Our founders wanted to keep these hopes and dreams alive for women aspiring to make their mark in society. What an endeavor. What a legacy. Did they have any problems? I'm sure they did. Did they receive support and encouragement from other women educators? Certainly they did. Did they collaborate and share ideas to make this a reality? Yes, they did. Did they give up? No, they did not. They persevered. During these challenging and uncertain times, many of our members may be coping with various problems in their personal lives and in their chapters. Some may not be able to find enough hours in the day to complete the tasks that must be done at home, at work, and sadly to say, in their chapters. As a result, some of our members may be having to prioritize their time and their list of responsibilities. Their aspirations to be the best they can be may be on hold. Some have asked the question, what should we do next week or next month to help others? Our focus should be, what can we do right now? Unfortunately, many of us are unable to do very much to change the personal circumstances of some of our members, but we can help them tremendously with some of the challenges they are facing in their chapters. Right now, we can thank all of our members for their continuous service and dedication to NCDKG. Right now, we can offer our support and encouragement to each other. Right now, we can provide assistance to those who are in need of ideas to improve their chapter. I know that all of our chapters are doing great things because we are educators and this is what we do. If you have projects and activities and programs that were viewed as successful, please share them with others. Our organization functions best when we all work together. A few months ago, our mentor project was launched. Chapters were paired together with others as a mechanism to reach out and share ideas. This project can be instrumental in providing the necessary resources to chapters that seek ideas for interesting programs, meaningful projects, and fun activities. Your ideas would be posted as a monthly mentor tip in Edidata. In addition, the mentor tip would be posted on our state webpage with a link to our pool of resources. This pool of resources is an excellent vehicle to allow many chapter members to fulfill their duties. Several chapters have already shared their ideas. We hope you will do so as well. Your willingness to serve and share ideas with others will impact positively on the growth of our chapters as well as our organization. So today, I challenge you to be supportive, be encouraging, and be helpful, not only in your words, but in your deeds, because all of our members matter. They count as we celebrate NC DKG. The minutes of the September 13, 2019 Executive Board meeting were approved by the Minutes Review Committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Doris. Thank you for that inspiration. Thank you for speaking to the concept of mentoring. And also thank you for what you do as a recording secretary. I also want to step back and make sure the rules of the day have been approved. So thank you, Betty, as well, for bringing the rules of the day. In accordance with NC DKG bylaws, I would like to appoint the 2020 Minutes Review Committee, and they are the following. Susie Miller will chair. She is of Gamma Delta. Dot Carter of Omicron, and Megan Miller from Gamma Gamma. They will be the reviews committee for this meeting. Thank you, ladies, for accepting this role. Officers will now give their reports, excuse me, as they are listed in the agenda. I will go first. September 2019, I stood in Burlington filled with excitement as I looked into the new biennium with hopes to see North Carolina Delta Kappa Gamma ready, set, grow. In preparing today's report, I reviewed my words from that day. These words that I'm going to share with you, stated over a year ago, are pertinent to what I want to share with you today. This is what I said a year ago. Ready, set, grow is more than words. It is a call to action. I am excited to see how our members, our chapters, and our state takes action as we ready, set, grow in this biennium and beyond. In my written report that I provide for today, there were 4 goals that were noted. Each is a testament to action that has taken place in the last 15 months. In spite of this horrific, unique circumstances that our world is facing, NCDKG has continued to ready, set, grow. We took action as we implemented timely financial systems and utilized technology to ensure the continuation of society business. We took action as we generated media and virtual showcases to recognize and highlight members and chapters as we faced cancellation of our state convention. We took action as we implemented the first virtual new leaders training as we faced the first non-face-to-face new leaders training. We took action as we hosted the first virtual fall executive board meeting open to all members as we faced uncertain times and current health restrictions. And lastly, we took action as we utilized every form of communication possible to support our members and to maintain our sisterly fellowship. as we faced isolation, quarantine, and uncertainty. 2020 will certainly be one for the record books. But as your president of NCDKG, I am proud to say that North Carolina Delta Kappa Gamma wasn't canceled, even though everything else might have been. We weren't canceled because of the crisis. Instead, we are stronger and we are ready to face whatever 2021 brings our way. Thank you for being a part of the action as we continue to ready, set, grow, and because together we are always stronger. Before I introduce Toby Worthington, I also want to remind you that all reports presented today are online and are accessible to all members under the meeting documents. We will continue in order with the exception of our second vice president, Hilda Parley. Hilda had a death in her family this week, and she will not be with us. Please keep her and her family in your thoughts and in your prayers. She will, as all the others are, have her report online for those of you that wish to review. I would now like to introduce to you Toby Worthington, the North Carolina Delta Kappa Gamma First Vice President and EEC Chair, for her report.
Good morning, everyone. It is my pleasure to be here with you today. I know this technology is something new for some of us, but we're getting through it all. I am proud to serve as your first vice president and the EEC committee chair for NCDKG. As the chairman of the EEC committee, it is my goal to get programs and projects to chapters that will benefit them. I have created an EEC logo that is on the state website that you click on, and from there you can see programs and projects for your chapters. We're still in the process of getting it organized and working perfectly, but what I really need is projects and programs to put there. So I encourage you, as you do any kind of project or program that has anything to do with educational excellence, please send them to me so that we can place them on the webpage for all to use. Also, it was my pleasure to give virtual training last summer to the new officers coming in and the new EEC committee members, committee chairmen, excuse me. So it was my pleasure to serve as your first vice president this last year, and I look forward to seeing you all at the 2021 state convention. Hopefully we'll be able to do that in person, but if not, we will get through it. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Toby, for your report and your work as the first vice president and EEC chair. We appreciate
it's terrible.
and we appreciate what you
I don't know
do
what else to say.
as state first vice president. We thank you for your service. Now, before proceeding with reports by standing committees, let's celebrate NCDKG with our first of 4 vignettes. Dr. Melinda Pennington will now speak to how members benefit. Dr. Pennington, thank you for being with us today, and we look forward to hearing your vignette.
Good morning, everyone. As Teresa introduced me, I am now Dr. Melinda Pennington, and that is what I want to speak to you about today about the benefits of DKG membership. Many of us as educators are constantly striving to improve ourselves and improve our teaching. Sometimes that means pursuing another degree. So if you have a bachelor's degree and you would like to pursue a master's, we have options, that you can get a student loan forgiveness through an educator program from the Department of Ed. However, that means that money has to come from somewhere to get started. And taking on student loan debt can be quite scary. So what I discovered is that North Carolina DKG has a scholarship program for members in pursuit of a higher education degree. And it's awarded annually, usually at our convention. And if you are looking to improve yourself by getting a master's degree, that is usually in the neighborhood of about $2,000. If you have a master's and you want to go even further, as I did, they have a doctoral scholarship for $4,000. And that's from our state level North Carolina DKG. Now, personally, I already had a master's before I joined DKG, and I'd actually already started my doctoral program. My dream is to become a full-time professor one day. I have a unique position right now that's not the subject of this conversation that I'm greatly enjoying. But when I was a classroom teacher, and I thought I would like to one day prepare the next class of teachers. And my area of expertise is autism. I don't want just special ed teachers to know how to work with autism. I would love for all teachers to learn how to work with autism. And so this is why I started down the path of pursuing a PhD. And I started off, as many PhD students, taking out some student loans. And the people that I started with, my cohort, many of them after the first year were terrified of the debt burden and decided to drop out of their jobs and become full-time students. Unfortunately, that is not a situation that I could do. And so I was terrified that I would not be able to finish my degree and would still be saddled with a bunch of student loan debt. When my fellow DKG members said, don't forget, we have a scholarship program. So our local chapter awarded me our local scholarship, and that was $750. And that allowed me to purchase my textbooks for an entire year, which reduced the burden on me. And after that, I was encouraged to apply for the North Carolina DKG Graduate Studies Scholarship, which I just informed you of, which was $4,000. And that was tremendous. That paid for an entire semester. My next hurdle was that I was now in my dissertation phase. And everyone's like, wow, okay, you're almost done. But those of you who have pursued a PhD know that dissertation phase can take some time. And what you don't realize when you get started is you still have to be enrolled and you still have to pay tuition the entire time you're trying to conduct research and have committee meetings and write this massive dissertation. And you're not a full-time student, so you can't qualify for student loans. And I really began to worry that I was not going to be able to finish my PhD. When my DKG sisters turned to me and said, hey, there's an international scholarship for graduate work as well. And there are 30 international scholarships awarded every year. There are $6,000 for those pursuing master's degrees and $10,000 for those pursuing a doctoral degree. And with the support of my sisters, I did the application and I won. And that $10,000 allowed me to now be Dr. Pennington and took a lot of burden off of me so that I could concentrate on my studies and do what needed to be done. And this is a benefit that's open to all of our DKG members. And the applications, you can start on the North Carolina DKG website, and you can go under committees, click on scholarship committee, and from there are the links that you need to know for the different scholarships. The scholarship forms are usually under the forms tab on our North Carolina DKG site. But you could also go to the international site for Delta Kappa Gamma and go, and as a member, you have to log in. It's not on the just pop-up site. You have to be a member to get to this. And you can go under the scholarship section and see all the information there as well. And there's lots of tips and tools to help you fill out the application. And so it was really not very stressful at all, because what we're looking to do is support our members in, improving themselves professionally and then sharing that knowledge with others to further the profession of teaching and also spread the values of DKG, that we are professional women educators who have valued contributions to our society. And I can't see the chat box. Let's see if anyone is putting some questions in there. Okay, I don't see any questions right now, but anyway, that is how DKG has benefited me. I cannot even imagine what would have happened if I had not had their support, because I was not in a situation where I could have become a full-time student. And I don't know that I would have been able to finish my degree without the support of DKG. And that support is there for all of our members. And I encourage you to go to the website and check out the applications. I know that the current round is now open, and those applications are due February 1st. So you have plenty of time to fill out that paperwork and get it submitted. And if you're not in a position as a member of this convention to apply, if that's not something that interests you, please consider someone else in your chapter who is thinking about starting a program or has maybe already started, and this can help them get to the finish line. Teresa, is there anything else I should cover?
No, thank you so much. Melinda, thank you. And congratulations, Dr. Pennington. I remember those days myself, being in a place where you think, all right, I just do not know how I can pay debts and continue to work and continue to be successful. And like you, I want to reiterate the fact that members benefit from helping each other. And I love the way Melinda spoke to the fact that she, first of all, was encouraged by a fellow member to apply. And I too had that encouragement and am lucky enough to be able to say, Dr. Cowan is a result of Delta Kappa Gamma benefit. And in Melinda's document and her dissertation published piece, as well as mine, in the acknowledgments in the front, it states something similar to that Delta Kappa Gamma made our doctoral programs possible. So it is forever published, our debt and our honor and our privilege and our gratitude in our dissertations. So Melinda, thank you and congratulations. We will now hear from select standing committees in the order as listed. The first standing committee is the awards committee, represented by Elaine McRae. Elaine?
Good morning, President Teresa and the members of the Executive Board Committee. As a member of the Awards Committee, I am giving this report for our chair, Donna Rudisell. Our emphases in the year 2 of our biennium are the following: to revise and promote the chapter achievement, founders, Golden Key, and Rising Star awards. All these awards are, and the applications, the guidelines, along with the rubrics, have been updated and are posted on our NCDKG website. They can be found under the Forms menu. Please note carefully the deadlines. All of them are March 1st, 2021, except for the Founders Award. The Founders Award deadline is February 1st, 2021, And this award is submitted on odd number years, which would be coming up in 2021. The Chapter Achievement Award, the Golden Key, and Rising Star deadline is March 1st, 2021. I would note that the Chapter Achievement Award, the working copy is on our website, but these awards will be submitted electronically to regional directors. Our second emphasis is to encourage chapters to submit nominations for the Founders Rising Star and Golden Key Awards. Chapters are encouraged to submit nominations for each award, and these awards are part of our Chapter Achievement Award. And the chapters that submit nominations will, of course, receive points toward their achievement level. Third emphasis is to create a digital badge to be awarded for the Chapter Achievement Award recipients. Since we did not have a face-to-face state convention this year, the committee agreed upon awarding a digital badge instead of a paper certificate. This will reduce the cost while allowing chapters to showcase their Chapter Achievement Award on their website, social media, newsletter, and other communications. These badges will be distributed to the presidents who were in office for 2018 to 2020, and they will be emailed the week after this executive board meeting. Our fourth emphasis is to prepare a survey of chapters to document the professional achievements of their members. One of the goals for the awards committee is to document these professional achievements, such as National Board Certified Teachers, Teachers of the Year, Principals of the Year, Order of the Longleaf Pine, and of course longevities in our society for 50 plus years. An online form will be distributed to chapter presidents so that they can enter the information for their chapter. And you will find this information in the next ADA data and the NC DKG news. Thank you very much.
Next, we will hear from the Beginning Teacher Support Committee, Brenda Reese. Brenda, you're on.
Thank you. I am happy to say that I'm representing our Beginning Teacher Support Committee. And our committee is dedicated to Dr. Cowan's motto for us, ready, set, grow. And where's the best place in the world to grow our Beginning Teachers Committee or Delta Kappa Gamma is through our Beginning Teachers Committee. I want all of you to think back to that first year as an educator, and I'm sure that every one of you are going to think of one person who rose to the occasion and helped you through that year. And that's what our goal is as our DKG members work to help our beginning teachers. We're looking primarily at teachers in their first through fourth years of teaching. And right now, if there's ever been a time that these young teachers need our support, it's now. With the technology, the isolation, with the relationship with students and teachers and families and administrators are all a little bit more difficult to form when you're having to do everything remotely. And right now, not only are we having educators that are dealing with the remote situation, but flipping back and forth from teaching in person to teaching remotely as the coronavirus keeps us on our toes. So please keep all of your beginning teachers in mind, especially this year. We have wanted to recognize our beginning teachers with a B Award, the Beginning Educator Excelling Award. And this award helps us show that we honor them, that they are recognized, that we want to help them advance in their career, that their work counts. We want to stimulate them by letting them know that they are appreciated and to encourage their fellowship through networking. And in this unique year, you know, we need to figure out how we can find those folks because we're not as much in person as we'd like to be. So when we're thinking about presenting our B awards or B certificates to these beginning teachers, we may have to get a little bit creative in how we stay on top of what they're doing in this wonderful year. So, you know, we can always have direct observation where we actually get to see them in action. But word of mouth, Facebook, Twitter, school web pages, school newsletters, local papers, all of these are places that you can see the wonderful things our brand new teachers are doing. And this is an ideal place to begin your recruitment for membership in DKG. Remember, the B certificates are online, so you can print them out as you need them. And then I also want to talk about our Beginning Teacher Award of Excellence. We are modeling our award after the Rising Star model and are getting ready to submit some of this information to the Rules Committee so we can actually get our awards into the rules. The committee's working on this right now. We're almost there. We're wanting this award to be available for both members and non-members. And our application process is going to be a little bit different this year simply because we are wanting to make this available to both members and non-members. So we're going to look at professional involvement. We're going to look at professional achievements. We're going to look at the leadership, a teacher's leadership and their leadership potential, both locally and beyond the local level. We need to see that these young people are demonstrating ongoing achievement in their profession. And we will also want to look at their involvement in the community and community involvement outside of their DKG role. We will also look at, very strongly look at and weight their reflections on what they have to say about what they've learned and what their experience has been as a new teacher, and recommendations that are coming from the person nominating them. We also want to make our award due on March 1, so it'll be easier to remember that due date when others are due, and also to present this at our state convention. We're in the process of trying to figure out how we can get some financial backing for this award. So our committee is working on that. We'd love to be able to award that annually. And so I have a wonderful, wonderful Beginning Teacher Support Committee, and we hope to have that taken care of before the end of November. We will be presenting a workshop at our next state convention, and we will be providing a lot of B door prizes. So you need to come, be sure you get a B door prize, but we also have a few that are going to be available for today. And you know, there's lots of things you can do that we'll talk about that day to help network and help your beginning teachers actually in the school setting, from icebreakers to designated greeters to having them at inviting them to your meeting so they can kind of get a feel for what DKG is all about. And encourage our beginning teachers to attend our state convention, help them with carpooling, help them with sharing a room, offer them a small stipend. It may be something as simple as providing help with their meals. So the school systems provide official mentors, but DKG provides lots of quote unquote unofficial mentors. We adopt everybody and try to help them every which way we can. And so I encourage you, along with Tommy Hendricks and Pam Sutton and Maria Johnson and Rhonda Hagler and Elizabeth Barnett, who make up my wonderful Beginning Teachers Committee, to go forth and welcome all of our beginning teachers into our system and into Delta Kappa Gamma. Thank you.
Brenda, thank you for that report. Our next report, it will be from the Leadership Development with Ms. Carolyn Coram as the chair.
Good morning, all. Thank you, President Cowan, officers of NCDKG, and all of you who are already leaders. That's why you're here. I want to share with you what our aspirations are as a committee of 6. And I am Carolyn Coram, and these responsibilities of creating those leadership development opportunities for you are shared by Nancy Cox, Lori Holguin, Carolyn Lane, Michelle Wall, Toby Worthington, and also the advisement of President Cowan. We have set some emphases for this year, for the upcoming months. And there was an article in the DKG News in December of 19, which was encouraging leadership, those of you to step up to those leadership positions within your chapters. At that time, little did we know what stepping up into leadership was going to mean, because that was pre-COVID-19. And we didn't know that how we even exercise leadership was going to be so entirely different. But we continue to learn how to do that, and still how to be able to encourage, to mentor, and to expand our own leadership capabilities. Because as we expand our leadership capabilities, we are expanding the leadership capabilities of those whose lives we touch and who we embrace to join in leadership with us. So we are set to encourage gifted members to be leaders, find ways to nourish and flourish our chapters. And that could be through resources that appear in DKG News. That's through a 2-day seminar that will be held on the Thursday, April 22nd, and carry over to Friday morning and early afternoon, April 23, in connection with the convention, the state NCDKG convention in Asheville. And you will be receiving, so look for more information on that. Those of you who participated in the spring 2019 2-day seminar at Caraway Conference Center, you know what fellowship, what encouragement, what we learn about ourselves by learning our strengths as that maybe we didn't identify that we had. And also these areas that might be a little bit of a roadblock for us, and how we can work around those in our relationship with others. So there will be that 2-day spring leadership seminar, and it will be this year attached to as a pre to the convention. Also to encourage first-time participants in that seminar. Not because we are going to be starting with identifying our strengths. And so those of you who have participated before, you would want to come to the convention workshop that will be orchestrated by the leadership development team. And that will be for those who attended the seminar and still wish to continue in that discussion, and those of you who have participated in the past. The workshop at the convention will be the best arena for you. And to include leadership opportunities for enlightenment through the various sources of NCDKG publications. And I hope if you missed the Tennessee State Organization webinar with Dave Weber, he is a totally captivating speaker. I myself missed it, so you know you're not alone. But in the fall, DKG News is a brilliant summary. If you did not have the opportunity to attend that webinar, read the article that Dr. Barbara Perry Sheldon, Sheila Groves, and Rhonda Hager wrote in summary. And it covers 2 pages of this particular publication, and it is absolutely brilliant. So enjoy, if you are already in leadership, with those that you are mentoring to leadership, I encourage you to read that article because it is brilliantly done. Some of us had an opportunity to join a webinar that was through Meredith College with a graduate of Meredith College, class 2003. So she's younger than a lot of us, but who has gone very much into the development of leadership and has become very politically involved, has worked with government offices, but she has an acronym for leadership, and it's the word power. P is for preparation. There's no substitute for hard work. Be the best prepared when you enter the room. This boosts your self-confidence. O is ownership. Ownership of how we project ourselves. What's our physical presence? How do we communicate? How much do we communicate? How intentional are we in communication? How do we manage ourselves as the endeavor's compass? W is wisdom. The emotional intelligence to navigate conflict. What organization does not have conflict? E is for energy that keeps efforts on a forward trajectory, utilizing collaboration and networking. Have we ever realized in that in COVID-19? And R is for respect for yourself and the mentoring relationship we have with others. Recently, also in that fall DKG news, President Cowan gave this quote from Cynthia Selly: "The most powerful forces of change in the world are women." And we are of Blanton DNA because we are DKG. And Blanton became very involved. She was the timing of voting right now and her efforts were initially for quality educators, quality women educators. But she became very, very involved in the suffrage movement. I don't know whether you realize that, but she was extremely instrumental in that. And she made the statement, when we step forward and lead, we make a difference. No, that's mine. Hers was, when women run, they win. My take is when we step forward and lead, we make a difference. So in Asheville, I hope to see you. Our committee hopes to see you. Those of you who are new to discovering your leadership abilities, how to become better, more perceptive, more engaged leaders, to be comfortable with leadership. We'll see you in that pre-seminar on Thursday, April the 22nd, Friday, April the 23rd. We hope it's in Asheville, but it will be wherever we can gather. Let's grow, bloom, let's grow others. For that is what we do when and wherever we lead. Thank you.
Thank you, Carolyn, for your information from the Leadership Development. Our next report from Membership and Expansion, Elizabeth Myers.
Good morning. I have to begin by thanking the members of my committee who have done an outstanding job helping all of us in NCDKG grow. We have worked diligently to help you at the chapter level with ways to encourage your members and keep everyone benefiting from this, the opportunities that we have. May I thank Amy Anderson and Dr. Susan Blackburn and Susie Miller, Katie Todd, Amanda Moose, Doris Littlejohn, and Dr. Cowan for working with me. We began this summer by developing the virtual presentation that was able to talk about effective membership practices for new chapter membership chairs and regional directors. This happened in July, and it was a very exciting opportunity for us. We moved into more extensive training for regional directors, and I was excited this morning. I joined the regional meetings that happened at 8:30, and each of those regional meetings talked about growing our membership and effective membership practices that can make a difference for us. We're working on continually improving our communication links with chapter membership chairs to support sustainable strategies for membership development. That is going to be increasingly important with our limited opportunities to get together at the chapter level, at the state level. We're all having to find new ways to communicate and to strengthen ourselves without being able to be face-to-face. Our committee is also developing a strategic plan for chapter expansion. It was so exciting to be involved in a virtual meeting to bring in a new chapter. That was a very lengthy process, but it was a very exciting moment when a new chapter began this year and we're able to be brought on virtually. We are looking at streamlining our reporting. Right now we have Forms 2 and Form 6, which report death of a member in a chapter. And we also have the form that gives us a listing of the members' deaths throughout the year. That's our necrology report that we turn in February from each chapter. But with the help of technology and being able to create a pretty accurate database, we're able to track member deaths. Working along with International, we can hopefully much better keep up with our membership roles and able to help each other with making things more streamlined, less cumbersome, easier to take care of, because we don't need extra work nowadays. We need to be able to do things as efficiently as possible. We're also excited about the strategic plans with streamlining reporting of membership roles. We're also working on this plan to continually expand chapters. We've looked at our North Carolina plan that we've been working with for several years, and we've looked at plans from other states, and we want to develop the plan so that we will know exactly how to support chapters when they are expanding and growing in a way that makes it easy and not as cumbersome as it could have been in the past. The last thing I'd like to share with you is that we are researching an opportunity to bring on virtual chapters. That is a new area, and it's an area that's very exciting, but we're only in the beginning stages of looking at that research and developing some ideas about how we could have virtual chapters in NCDKG. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And thank you, committee representatives, for your reports and for your dedication to this society. Before we move on to our additional reports, or before we move into our very special presentation, let's continue to celebrate NCDKG with our second vignette as we welcome Dr. Suzanne Irwin, who will speak to how members publish as our second vignette. Dr. Irwin. Suzanne, you're on.
Good, thank you.
Go ahead. You're ready.
Okay, all right. Good morning. It is a pleasure to have the opportunity to share the joy of writing that I've experienced while living on a family farm outside the small town of Sparta in Allegheny County. Yes, as an educator, I've written many memos, grants, and letters to parents, but not until 10 years ago did I put pencil to paper and began cherishing the written word by really looking into my world of retirement and learning how to see my daily life on a farm. It was a second marriage for my husband and myself. Our families had been friends for many years, and then sickness permeated our lives, and each spouse died within a year of each other. I never thought of being a farmer's wife, but this is what happened. And it has been a life filled with wholesome values, hard work, perseverance, and peace following the cycles of the year. For one who never had a pet growing up, the presence of dogs, cats, and cattle brought a sense of wonder that I had never experienced before. Land was abundant, and the prospect of having other animals besides the cattle live on the farm became my goal. So during these past 10 years, pygmy goats, pigs, burros, and one Mustang have found a home on the farm. And from these delightful creatures came the Stratford Oaks tales. The creation of these stories developed from my life experiences with Gretchen, a disabled goat, with Clyde, the calf that needed nurturing, and the last tale, a journey of adopting burros, Cricket and Cracker, and Bella, the Mustang, from the U.S. Land Management Government Program. And because of these real life adventures with these animals, the stories became alive for me. I could write from a perspective of what I learned from these creatures and put my thoughts on paper. Now, besides these true animal adventures, one of the major contributors that made it so rewarding was the presence and fellowship of an autistic young man whom I enrolled in the Allegheny school system when he was 5 years old. And when I saw his drawings, I knew that Zach Ham, now 21 years old, could flourish as an artist in a way never thought possible. His drawings of the farm scenes would be through his eyes, not through the lens of a camera. Now, regarding the publishing aspect of these books, I found a printing company in my own backyard, Imaging Specialists. Claire and Jeff Halsey, owners, are well versed in the printing field. They took charge, edited, and incorporated Zach's drawings in the books, and even produced posters for marketing. Allegheny TV produced a video of the first book shown on the local channel, and Blue Ridge Electric advertised the book in its February issue of 2012. Local farmer markets in Virginia and North Carolina welcomed Zach and myself to do book signings. Our public library provided the opportunities to speak at local book clubs and children's programs in the Northwest Regional Library System. Imaging Specialists had book signings at festivals and developed a Facebook page, which is still maintained and is up current by Imaging Specialists, called Stratford Oaks Tales. Now, these books are considered self-published. I engaged Imaging Specialists and learned that books on demand is the route to take. For the first two books, I ordered too many and have realized that smaller quantities are better. Now, in 2017, Allegheny Writers came into existence. This nonprofit entity is the inspiration and catalyst for me to pursue the craft of writing in various genres. Since joining the group, I have branched out into writing vignettes, sharing Christmas stories, and recently researching how to write a memoir. The local magazine called Here was seeking to publish a short piece on log cabins hidden away in our county. And I realized that from my own front porch, I could see an isolated log structure in the distance. I did some research and produced an article that was published. My front porch also became the pivotal point for another published article on porches in Americana. And this appeared in our local weekly newspaper. And then in 2020, our past president of Gamma Delta, Susie Miller, invited me to consider writing a piece for the Collegial Exchange about the beginning of the Allegheny Writers, noting how this organization had influenced aspiring writers, published writers. They provided a venue for visiting authors, raised funds for an author's residency in the county schools, and presented workshops for teachers to enable them to be the catalyst in bringing the word to life in class settings. Now, at this moment of time, after a brief halt to actual gatherings due to COVID-19, our monthly meetings of Allegheny Writers are now on Zoom, overseen by Steve Hall, the technical advisor at the Allegheny school system. In January of the same year, a critique group of 5 writers began a weekly meeting at the library. Each person took a turn in sharing a written piece of their choice, usually 500 words or less. All was going well until COVID-19. But then one of our members, because of her perseverance, showed us how to use Zoom, and so we now meet weekly. In conclusion, writing is alive and well in Allegheny County, thanks to Allegheny writers, the support of the school system, and the patrons in the county who understand the power of the written word. Seeing your book, poem, vignette in print is rewarding, and to create takes moments. So see the lights around you. Put your pencil to the paper. Read and read and read, and keep a journal of interesting words, and share with others your belief in the value of the written word. Many of our members have published books, produced portfolios, and contributed to the bulletin and the exchange. We have talent in each of our chapters, so seek, and I guarantee you will find. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Irwin. Thank you so much for your time, your efforts, your energy, as well as your frequent publications, and as well as your artistic publications, I might note and mention. Before we go any further, I want to introduce something very special. Each biennium, Delta Kappa Gamma International presents a special regional award at the international conference. An award that recognizes women who make a difference in their region. In our region, excuse me, that award is called the Star of the Southeast. The purpose of this recognition is to showcase a woman who has given distinctive and tireless service to the society. The Star of the Southeast Award is recognition given out of honor, respect, and gratitude to a member of North Carolina Delta Kappa Gamma that makes a difference without calling attention to herself. With that said, it is my distinct honor to share screen at this moment and use a slideshow to present to you the 2020 Star of the Southeast. Please indulge me for a second while I go there. The Star of the Southeast is generally given at the convention that is held internationally. But since we weren't there, we take this opportunity now to recognize the 2020 NCD DKG Star of the Southeast. That person is Ruth Jones. Ruth Jones is the 2020 NCDKG Star of the Southeast. Let me tell you about Ruth. Ruth Jones has been a member of Delta since 1969. She's a retired university accounting instructor, treasurer, secretary, vice president in her chapter, NCDKG state treasurer for 6 years. She now chairs the finance committee, and she's also a member of the North Carolina Educational Foundation Board. Ruth is also an individual who is dedicated, efficient, and effective. She weighs her thoughts carefully before speaking, but she also encourages others to share their opinions. Ruth is meticulous. She is tireless. She is committed, and she is a person of integrity. Ruth guides and supports and has done so for years and continues to do so, helping chapter treasurers in their work. Ruth is the 2020 NCDKG Star of the Southeast. North Carolina is proud and delighted to honor Ruth Jones as the Star of the Southeast. I will say in transition that Ruth had no idea that this was occurring. We will now have Ruth on screen with us so that she can be recognized at her house with her dear friend, Betty LaRue.
Are we on?
Ashley, are we split screen with Ruth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now,
I'm just in shock.
oh, are you? So, Miss Ruth, first of all, Ruth, on behalf of NCDKG, congratulations. This honor is well deserved. Betty, would you please now pin Ruth as our 2020 Star of the Southeast?
I will, and she's in shock and awe.
Awesome.
You will not believe that I have kept this secret for a long time.
This is fabulous. But Ruth, also, in addition to just that beautiful Star of the Southeast pin that you're getting, you will also be given a commemorative pin that you could have gotten at the International Convention or Conference if we'd have gotten to go to Philadelphia. I would love for you to remember this experience and smile as you tell people about the significance of these two pins that I want you to wear with your DKG badge. And I'm going to tell everybody out loud that last night when she called me, I could hardly contain myself to be so excited to have you on screen with me right now. Ruth, is there something you would like to say, my friend?
You have just about left me speechless. I wondered why Betty wanted to come to my house today. And she just asked me if I knew what was happening, and I told her no, I didn't know.
You're welcome.
I should say I'm thankful for such an honor. I do appreciate this. I don't know how it came about. Thank you.
Congratulations. You're welcome. You are so welcome. Wear those pins with pride. We love you, we honor you, and we thank you for what you have done. 2020 Star of the Southeast, my friends. Thank you so much. And Betty, thank you for your help, my friend. Now, ladies, before we continue, once again, congratulations to Ruth. But in the spirit of celebrating, I'd like to now present to you the third vignette. I once again will go to screen sharing, but I'm going to go this time, to the YouTube that I have pulled up. That is a vignette that is pre-recorded by one of our members. And that individual's name is Meredith Fichuk. Meredith presented or gave me a pre-recorded vignette and is going to allow us to enjoy something that she has to share. As long as my computer will cooperate, I apologize. This is Meredith Fichuk and her virtual vignette.
My name is Meredith Fichuk. I'm a member of the Omicron chapter in Wilson.
You need to share your screen.
11th year of teaching, and I currently teach first grade in Raleigh. I've been a member of DKG since May of 2014. And during this short time, DKG has offered me so many opportunities to advance my career, travel to new places, and make friends from all over the world. Honestly, I joined DKG because my close friend and colleague, Misty, was an initiated member. I had recently moved back to Wilson and was looking for a way to become more involved in the community. She told me about DKG, the projects that the Omicron chapter does in Wilson, support for schools in Africa, and how the society was founded to unite women educators. I was interested. She submitted my name for membership, and the rest is history. In the summer of 2015, Doc Carter, our chapter president at the time, asked Misty and I if we would be interested in attending the State Leadership Development Seminar at Peace University. Here we met ladies from across the state. We learned about various programs and strategies we could implement within our classroom, and we heard about how DKG played such a special role in everyone's life. I was pumped. I met Kathy Doughty one day at lunch, and we talked about my viewpoints as a millennial and my experience in DKG. And at this time, I was not aware that Kathy served on the International Executive Board. Later that summer, I received an email from Dr. Lynn Smith, DKG International President, asking if I would be interested in joining an international committee that she was organizing. The committee was called DKG Next, and it was a committee to provide insight from members who were 35 and younger. How could you say no to that? In September, I flew to Austin and met 6 other DKG members from all over the United States. We spent the weekend discussing what ideas millennials could bring to the table to redefine DKG. Dr. Lynn was impressed with our ideas for the society, and she requested that we present breakout sessions at the International Convention to be held in Nashville the following summer. I had the pleasure of speaking at the opening convocation of the 2016 International Convention. At the convention, DKG Next presented sessions on how to form engaging chapter programs, and we also ran many tech sessions to help members navigate the convention app. I was completely awestruck when I met Judith Viorst, and I was assigned to assist Ms. Viorst while she signed books after her speech. If you have not had a chance to attend an international convention, you really must try. It's full of keynote speakers, breakout sessions, and lots of fun. Here in North Carolina, I have been busy too. From 2016 to 2018, I served as second VP of my chapter Omicron. In 2016, I received an ADA State Scholarship for National Board Certification, and I was recognized as an ADA State Rising Star. In 2017, I received an ADA State Scholarship for a master's degree. In 2018, I presented what I had been researching during my graduate work at one of the ADA State Convention breakout sessions. I completed my National Board Certification and I graduated from UNC Chapel Hill with a Master's in Literacy in 2018. Now that years have passed and I've thought about my time in DKG, I realized that I've been so lucky to have the support from Omicron, ADA State, and DKG Society International. Being a member of this society has allowed me to build lasting friendships, complete graduate school, and push myself to go beyond my comfort zone. So now I ask you, are you making the most of your membership? I have some suggestions that might help. Get out there. Become more involved in your local chapter. Attend a convention. Serve on a committee. There are an abundant opportunities to serve, whether it's in your local chapter, on the state level, or internationally. Start a conversation. There's literally someone in every age group, in every educational walk, or in years of service in our organization. Some of us have been members for just a few years, while others have a great wealth of knowledge to share. One of my favorite DKG memories was listening to Margaret Church and Linda Little tell stories at that first leadership seminar that I attended all those years ago. And lastly, grow. Encourage a chapter member to apply for a scholarship. Push yourself to complete your master's degree or national boards. Submit a publication. Attend a convention. There are breakout sessions geared for all interest levels. Every member of Delta Kappa Gamma has their own reason for joining this wonderful society. Perhaps yours includes fellowshipping, honoring key women educators, advancing your professional career, supporting the interest of education, or to inform members of current educational issues. Whatever your reason, I hope you choose to dig a little deeper and encourage yourself and other members to become more involved in our society that we all love, Delta Kappa Gamma. I hope you have a wonderful day.
The vignette that you just watched or were a part of, thank you so much, because we know that members network and it makes a difference. With that, thank you, Meredith, and congratulations to you. We will now continue with the standing reports and from the standing committees, from reports in the order as listed on the agenda. Brief reports from the committees, beginning with Ruth for finance. Ruth, all you.
President Teresa and members of the executive board, I am trying to recover. The finance committee has met electronically to carry out its duties as specified in standing rules. And one, the committee has determined that funds are available so that the scholarship committee would be able to award one $4,000 doctoral scholarship and one $1,000 master's scholarship. For item number 2, the committee set registration fees for the NC DKG State Convention in 2021 that we think we will have. That registration fee will be $35, but $25 for beginning teachers or collegiate members, and $20 for one-day registration. The committee also set late registration fees, which will be $15 if postmarked after April 15th, in addition to the other fees. And for item 3, the committee established vendor exhibitor fees for the 2021 convention as follows: $35 for chapters, state committees, and NC DKG Educational Foundation; $85 for NC DKG affiliated individuals; and $135 for an unaffiliated individual, company, or other organization. And I will explain further that these fees are necessary because the hotel where we expect to meet will be charging for all tables that are being used. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruth. Thank you. Nominations, Misty Wells.
Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the nominations committee, that would be Susie Cabe, Evelyn Hall, Emily Lucas, and Latoya McCrimmon. I'm Missy Wells, and I bring you greetings this morning. Right now, we are in the process of taking nominations for NC DKG state officers for the 2021-2023 biennium. At this time, we're going to, through November 15th, we're going to present those this spring at our convention. Those officers to be elected are the NC DKG state president, NC DKG first vice president, NC DKG second vice president, and NC DKG secretary. Throughout the nominations committee, the things that we've been working on, one of the first was just for efficiency, we converted the nominations recommendation PDF form. We've converted that to a Google form. And we also have an outline that accompanies that. And you can find those on the NCDKG website. When you go to the homepage, at the top, there's a link to the More page. And on that, you'll find the two links. It says outline for recommendations and link to the Google form for recommendation. And that outline that we've worked on and prepared, it follows exactly what you will need to complete in the Google form. So this outline just gives you the reference point of the 4 parts of the Google form, and it goes exactly in order. So this outline is a perfect help for when you go to complete the Google form. So we tried to make that easy and efficient. Another thing that we've also done, we've been able to promote the nominations process through the website. We want to thank Beth Winstead for her help getting that up and going. Also, Carol Boston and Susan Kinzel for helping us get that out through the news. We also emailed on all chapter presidents should have received on October 13th an email, and it outlined all of this. So we've got that out to you. So we want to just remind you again that we're looking for those that have been planted in NCDKG. They've been watered, they've been in leadership positions, and now they're ready to bloom in state leadership. So we just wish you happy nominating from the nominations committee. And we need those by November 15th. Thanks again.
Thank you, Missy. We will now hear from personnel, either through the screen of Chris Waters or Lynn Leatherwood. Personnel.
I'm here. Thank you. Thank you.
You are
morning, President Teresa and members of the Executive Board. I'm pleased to bring this report to you. My committee has worked very diligently. Patricia Pemberton, Barbara Parakiski, Chris Waters, and Marilyn Yoder. In keeping with the North Carolina DKG bylaw, Section 3, Part B, Number 5, A, B, and C, the Personnel Committee is charged with studying matters and policies relating to personnel. Keep a current record of the duties of each of the paid positions, and when the duties and responsibilities for these positions change, it is our task to notify the Executive Board. To that end, we have conducted a critical review of the related personnel job descriptions. We have studied possible restructuring of related personnel infrastructure. We have modified the related personnel evaluation instrument. We have conducted virtual job assessments with the webmaster and editor, and will seek approval from the Executive Board to establish related personnel positions that encompass existing roles and responsibilities. And thank you, President Teresa, for your leadership and your guidance.
Thank you, Lynn. Thank you for representing the Personnel Committee with that report. We will now hear from Rules with Sheila Groves. Sheila.
Madam President and Executive Board members, in the second year of this biennium, the Rules Committee, Dolores Ali, Diane Pina, Linda Sobel, along with consultant Betty Marshall, state parliamentarian, President Teresa Cowan, and myself, will give special attention to 1, encouraging thoughtful change of state bylaws and standing rules. The Rules Committee is currently accepting proposed amendments to our state organization bylaws and standing rules. Proposals may be submitted by any member, committee, board, or chapter. The Rules Committee encourages thoughtful change of governing documents. We offer assistance to clarify meaning of existing rules and to help with wording new proposals. The proposal form may be downloaded from the state website or obtained from Rules Committee, ncdkgrules@gmail.com. All proposed amendments are due December 1st, 2020. Second, finalizing review of chapter rules. The NCDKG bylaws require a state review of chapter rules on a 4-year cycle. 2020 is the review year. Chapter presidents received a letter in June to inform the chapter the status of their rules. Rules that were in compliance have been filed. Those needing a bit more work were returned to the chapter with requests to resubmit when rules changes were made. Those chapters not submitting rules were sent a copy of the rules checklist and asked to send rules as soon as possible. Updated documents have been reviewed and filed as compliant from 68 chapters. The Rules Committee is available to assist the remaining chapters in bringing their rules into compliance with North Carolina DKG bylaws and standing rules and the Constitution and international standing rules by the end of this year. Thank you to all of the chapters working to bring their rules up, keep their rules updated, and the chapters submitting rules in the last 2 weeks will be notified as soon as those documents have been reviewed. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, Sheila, and thank you for your work on the Rules Committee. We will now hear from Ashley Taylor Layton, the chair of the ad hoc One Member, One Vote Committee.
Good morning, Madam President and my fellow sisters of the Executive Board. We are excited to share the work that we've done over the last year. We have investigated the pros and cons of every member voting on amendments to the NCDKG bylaws and the standing rules. This is, unbeknownst to us, more relevant than ever before. So we did develop a procedure. It is highlighted in the NCDKG Fall News if you would like to follow along. And we have investigated the types of voting methods and found a way that can be done freely, but also protecting the voting process by the use of unique IDs. And then we are reporting our findings right here to the Executive Board. So the next steps will be to make rules amendments to the Rules Committee with their help and assistance. And then we will at least get into the right step of having every member vote. We know that voting is a very important thing. I think that is even more prevalent this year than ever before. So we're headed in the right direction and we're excited to share these results with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley. Thank you to that committee for that work. Once again, I'd like to say thank you to all committee chairs for their reports and for their dedication to the society. Excuse me. We all know that committees are the backbone of the society, and your service at the state level is a tremendous asset, and your willingness to lead makes this society stronger. Leadership and service are integral to the preservation of this society. With that said, it is my privilege to introduce NCDKG immediate past president, Connie Savelle. Connie is going to speak to us using a recorded vignette about members lead. Once again, give me a moment. I'm going to share screen and bring up Connie's vignette.
Greetings. I'm Connie Savelle, the immediate past president of NCDKG. Today's critical topic is members lead. First, let's start with the mission. The DKG Society International promotes professional and personal growth of women educators and excellence in education. Our international vision, leading women educators, impacting education worldwide. The North Carolina vision, voices of influence, empowering NC women educators. Who are we? North Carolina DKG members are professional educators, learners, mentors, collaborators, supporters, teachers, encouragers, leaders. Two of our DKG purposes are key to the topic of Members League: to advance the professional interest and position of women in education, to stimulate the personal and professional growth of members, and to encourage their participation in appropriate programs of action. Educators are leaders in the classroom. They make multiple decisions every day. So when asked to serve in a leadership role in DKG, why do our members say, "I can't do that," or even, "I'm not a leader"? How can we gain confidence in leadership roles in Delta Kappa Gamma? Practice, practice, practice. Study the history, the international constitution, the state bylaws and standing rules. Learn about the roles of officers, committees. Attend meetings, participate in activities. Accept new roles, such as a committee chair, give reports, and participate in all aspects of the society. Prepare for a presentation, scripting, practicing in front of the mirror. Project your voice so others can understand your message. Admit that it is okay to make mistakes. Build relationships. Attend state meetings, workshops, and seminars. Listen. Get to know your past leaders, committee chairs, regional directors, chapter presidents, members. Value the traditions and history of the organization. Seek advice from a variety of leaders. Every time you have to speak, you are auditioning for leadership. James Humes. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Aristotle. A good leader inspires people to have confidence in the leader. A great leader inspires people to have confidence in themselves. Eleanor Roosevelt. Start simple. A good leader remembers to encourage others. Notes of encouragement and kind words show you noticed and inspire others to succeed. DKG leadership opportunities are everywhere. Chapter, state, and international. Involvement is the key. First, on the chapter level, attend meetings, present a chapter program, serve as a member of a committee, serve as a committee chair, serve on different committees to become familiar with the entire scope of DKG, serve as a chapter officer, serve as a chapter president. Second, the state level. Attend training at the state level. Attend leadership seminars that are presented in odd number years. Present a workshop at the state convention. Volunteer for a state committee. Serve as a state committee chair. Serve on many, many different committees and learn the work of the society to be an informed leader. Serve as a regional director. Serve as a state officer and the president. Every leader follows different paths to serve, but one common thread is listening, learning, seeking advice from experienced leaders, and building committees of collaborators who study and abide by the bylaws to continually advance the society. Remember, when you were invited to join DKG, someone saw a great leader in you. Where is your next role in leadership? Every member leads. November the 15th is the deadline to submit applications for our state officers. I'd like to encourage you to consider the possibility. Women belong in all places where decisions are being made. It shouldn't be that women are the exception. Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Thank you and have a wonderful afternoon.
Whoop. Sorry.
Hello, everyone. My name is Meredith Fachot. I'm a member of the Oma. Hello,
Oh,
everyone.
I did it again. I am so sorry,
My
y'all.
name is Meredith Fachot.
That's my fault.
I'm a member of the Omicron chapter in Will. Hello, everyone.
Meredith, we've heard you. My fault, y'all. I'm sorry. I apologize. Now, that was my fault. Ladies, thank you so much. And Connie, thank you for that awesome presentation of Members Lead. When we were talking about the vignettes, I knew the right person for that role. Thank you once again, and congratulations on your leadership roles. We move on now with our agenda in that we have 3 points of new business. The first point of new business comes to us from our chapter presidents. And as most of you will know, Louisiana was recently hit by 2 hurricanes within the 6 weeks' time. Hurricane Delta followed Hurricane Laura, which was one of the most powerful storms ever to hit Louisiana. In an effort to support our Delta Kappa Gamma sisters, chapter presidents asked me to consider the fact that North Carolina Delta Kappa Gamma might raise funds to aid members in need in that state. Beginning today, members and chapters of North Carolina Delta Kappa Gamma are encouraged to make a donation to what we've termed Delta Dollars. These funds will be distributed directly to Epsilon chapter, the Louisiana State Organization, for distribution to their chapter members as their executive committee deems appropriate. Guidelines for Delta Dollars will be shared in the next Ask Time with Presidents, which is Monday night. They will also be included in the ADA data, and they are already on the state website. Watch and listen for details in those guidelines. There is even a donation option on the state website so that members as well as the chapters can make donations online. If a member prefers to make a donation to the International Emergency Fund, please visit deltakappagaMma.org for that information. Let's work together as sisters to make our sisters of the Delta no longer feel like victims of Hurricane Delta. So please watch for that in the upcoming days. Delta Dollars, we can make a difference. The next 2 items of new business require a vote by the executive board. That is why we have asked for voting delegates to place their name and their chapter into the chat. We have established a quorum. Information for both of these motions that need to be voted upon were provided before today's meeting. The first motion I will state now and then provide the rationale. The first motion, Hilda Parlay, North Carolina 2nd Vice President, moves for the appointment of a regional directors task force. That task force will be charged with evaluating the process in which regional directors are placed and reviewing the selection guidelines. Upon completion of their evaluation, the committee will make recommendations as needed. The task force will report their recommendations in a written report to the executive board at least 1 month prior to the 2021 North Carolina Delta Gamma Gamma Convention. The motion was seconded by Elizabeth Myers of Theta Chapter. If there is anyone on or within the meeting that has any question or discussion, please enter it now into the chat, either through the Zoom chat or the YouTube chat. I am seeing no question or no discussion. With that, the question once again. The question is to move for the appointment of a regional directors task force. They are charged with evaluating the process in which regional directors are placed and reviewing the selection guidelines. Upon completion of their evaluation, the committee will make recommendations as needed. The task force will report the recommendations in a written report to the executive board at least 1 month prior to the 2021 NC DKG convention.
Madam President, we do have a question on the floor.
Yes.
Christina Wilkins asks, is the task force a long-term or short-term?
The bylaws state that anytime a task force or an ad hoc is created, it lasts through the biennium period of which it was placed. So at the end of 2021, my biennium time period, the task force would no longer exist unless the new president decides to continue it. The report will be provided prior to next spring's convention, and hopefully at that point, this task force responsibilities would conclude. Is there any other discussion? Thank you. A reminder to you, executive board members are, the voting members are chapter presidents or their representatives, past NCDKG presidents, and then of course, elected state officers. We will use a Google link, as we discussed earlier, to make our voting cast in a little bit. The final piece of new business comes to the executive board from 2 NCDKG committees. The motion coming from a committee or committees does not require a second. Once again, the information concerning this motion and its rationale, as well as history behind it, was provided prior to the event of today to all registrants. The motion is as follows. On behalf of the Leadership Development and Scholarship Committees, Toby Worthington, NCDKG First Vice President, moves that the North Carolina State Organization of Delta Kappa Gamma, a 501c6 educational corporation, transfer ownership of the Pauline Moser Longus Leadership Development Fund and the Scholarship Fund to the North Carolina Delta Kappa Gamma Educational Foundation, a 501c3 corporation, to manage, invest, reinvest, and distribute to the extent allowed by law and by any controlling document. The transfers to take place after CDs mature in December of 2020. Is there any discussion related to this motion? If so, please place your questions into the chat at this time. Once again, please, if you have a question related to this motion, please enter it into the chat at this time. Seeing no questions, once again, I will state the question. I'm sorry, I'm trying to read questions and keep on my agenda here. If seeing no question, is there any further discussion? Seeing none, the question is as follows. The question is to move that the North Carolina State Organization of Delta Kappa Gamma, a 501c6 educational corporation, transfer ownership of the Pauline Moser Longest Leadership Development Fund and the Scholarship Fund to the North Carolina Delta Kappa Gamma Educational Foundation, a 501c3 corporation, to manage, invest, reinvest, and distribute to the extent by law and by any controlling document. The transfers to take place after CDs mature in December of 2020. Once again, a reminder to you, there will be a voting link for those two motions. Executive board members, chapter presidents or their representatives, past NCDKG presidents, elected state officers, you will use the link that is now being provided in the chat system. It is being inputted within and into the Zoom chat as well as into the YouTube chat. That voting link will allow executive officers to cast their vote immediately and during lunch so that we can report the results immediately following. Speaking of lunch, just a few key announcements before we break for lunch. Number one, make sure you vote immediately. As established earlier, we have met the quorum, but we must have those votes in within the next short period of time so that it is politically appropriate following Robert's rules. And that announcement will be made after our workshop time period. A couple other announcements I'd like to make before we break. Remember, Carol, to please insert the link into the YouTube chat. On behalf of the North Carolina Delta Kappa Gamma Educational Foundation, I have two announcements, both very special. The foundation would like to congratulate Region 10 for amazing work in celebrating more than 90 North Carolina teachers in the 101 Donations Challenge. Congratulations, Region 10. You are amazing. That's awesome. Please all look for the names of nearly 500 educators from across North Carolina to be listed in the fall edition. In a nutshell, 500 educators recognized in the 101 Challenge. Congratulations to all that took time to do that. And congratulations, Region 10. The second announcement from the foundation is that we'd like to thank all of you who participated in the guitar fundraising raffle. Over $2,000 was collected for foundation grants from the foundation guitar raffle. The drawing was held October 17th, and it was pretty special when Pat Taylor was the lucky winner. So well deserved. Thank you from the foundation. Once again, a couple announcements. If you're not planning to attend the afternoon portion of the event, please take a moment to complete the evaluation. Remember, the evaluation link is going to also be provided in the Zoom chat as well as in the YouTube streaming chat for you to do your evaluation if you're not planning to participate in the afternoon. The evaluation link will be offered again at the end of the day, and it is also on the logistics document that you were provided midweek. Evaluation responses will be accepted until October 28th. During lunch, enjoy your lunch once you vote. But also too, I'm going to play an invitation to Asheville. It is very eloquently termed, Return to Asheville. The invitation is, of course, to what we hope will be our face-to-face 2021 NCDKG convention to be held in Asheville on April 23rd through 25th of 2021. Watch for details in the upcoming months as plans unfold. I am pleased to recognize Bonnie Golden of Alpha Phi and Patty Higgins of Gamma as the individuals who will be manning that convention at chairs. Please also enjoy at lunch some video presentations or recognitions that were received by members and chapters that we normally would have done at spring convention. Some of those media showcases, if we have time, they are also on our YouTube channel, and they're always there for you to enjoy. The other thing is that I want to remind you before you head to lunch is that you need to prepare for the afternoon workshops using the links that were provided to you on your event's logistics document. Those links will allow you to explore and be a part of at least 2 sessions, one each time period. If you have problems or if you have questions, please do not hesitate to send me an email or Carol Bostian an email, because she is the one who disseminated those links. And also as well, remember, please, this meeting has not been adjourned. Please return at 2:30. And the reason you want to do that is not only because you want to see my adjournment, but also we're going to have 13 door prizes that have been donated by the Beginning Teacher Support Committee. We're going to have closing remarks from our international president, Becky Sadowski. And then, of course, we will adjourn this amazing event. Remember, when you return for the closing at the end of the day, to use the same method that you use and are using currently. One last time before we break for lunch, remember to vote. Remember to cast your vote as a chapter delegate, as the voting delegate. And then also too, if you're not returning, please remember to evaluate today. And also, before I forget it, I want to thank all regional directors for their efforts in planning a pre-event morning training or a post. So some of you will be a part of your adventures this afternoon, and others have already done so. Ladies, with that, enjoy your lunch, cast your votes, and we will see you back after your workshop adventures. May you enjoy, and I know you will be ready, set, growing individuals to make a difference. I will see you again at 2:30. Thank you. Okay, so Ashley, I'm going to continue with live streaming because I am going to now bring up a couple of the YouTube videos for people to enjoy.
Until forest, old and precious, takes the game. Though we've changed, we can return again. My brother, my love, my friend. Oh.
scholarship awardees and award winners from last year and this year. So welcome. You get to see our awards celebration a little bit differently than we had intended, but at least we get to still share it with everyone through our virtual format. So welcome again, and we're going to get started. We're going to go ahead and hear a little bit from our previous recipients from last year, and then we will introduce our new scholarship awardees from this year, 2020. All right, so that being said, I'm going to go ahead and introduce Kristen Van, who was our Master Scholarship Award winner last year. So Kristen, tell us a little bit about what's going on in your life.
Sure. I want to thank Scholarship Chair Michelle Biennium and our State President Teresa Cowan first, and then just thank the organization and tell you guys a couple things I've done since we were together last. There's no question that our world has changed dramatically since the last convention, with many of its problems now intensified or exposed. So speaking to a large group of educators, I know I'm not alone in continually thinking, what more can I do? Not only to promote equity, but to combat covert white supremacy in the curriculum or the colorblind classroom. So these issues of race and gender and sexuality come up frequently in ELA, which is what I teach, and it calls for continual examination of my own understanding, agenda, and graduate school has provided a lot of space for me to do that. So in putting our hearts to action, it's overwhelming sometimes to think about our enormous influence as educators. We question and reflect regularly on what we're doing, if we're doing the right thing, and it's even more overwhelming now, not knowing what our new normal for returning to school might be. So the good news for me is that with the help of all of you, my master's work this year has put me in a really good position for these difficult tasks ahead. So I've got insight and confidence to begin applying into practice. So I'd just like to give you a short summary of my work as it stands today. I've completed 15 hours towards my master's of English degree. And even though that was sometimes at a tug of war with my full-time teaching, it's made me more conscious. And I've been able to somehow maintain a 4.0 for the first time in my life. I've taken classes in my concentration of rhetoric and composition, as well as courses for a professional writing certificate. One of the hallmarks this year has been, was presenting at my first professional conference. It was called SACS, the Southeastern Association of Cultural Studies, at UNC Charlotte. And this was probably my biggest You Grow Girl moment. So the paper I presented came after I read the only two female rhetoricians in my large rhetorical theory textbook. And those were Helene Cixous and Virginia Woolf. And both of these people advocate for the recognition of a distinct and uniquely feminine mode of discourse. So in discussing the way we as women use our voice, Virginia Woolf says, quote, "It's so baffling that the very form of the sentence does not fit her. It's a sentence made by men. It's too loose, too heavy, too pompous for a woman's use." Now, I know it may be obvious to many of you that men and women are sometimes speaking completely different languages. In the academy, it's traditionally argued that there are no inherent differences in the way men and women utilize and structure language. Scholars like Woolf and Cixous argue that our discourse as female is not only different, but perhaps superior. As Cixous puts it, her language does not contain, it carries, it does not hold back, it makes possible. So there's this real sense of building on writers that came before you in feminine literary traditions. And I looked at works from authors Julia Alvarez and Polly Marshall to learn more on how females, and especially Black, Indigenous, and females of color, negotiate spaces where their authentic linguistic utterances and expressions can take shape. So applying all this theoretical stuff to education, it became overwhelmingly obvious to me that there's a really slow censorship at work for many as we learn to write. And that suppression is even worse when your identity intersects with other groups of marginalized people. This work taught me it's past time to examine ELA curriculums that glorify the use of only standard English and the Aristotle form of writing persuasively. When we learn to write correctly growing up, we learn to navigate and make use of these forms without questioning what's left behind. I'm certainly not the only female who struggled to find my voice in the academy. The fact is, sometimes it just takes more time for us to really fall in love with our own voice. I look to feminine composition theorist Ray Rosenthal for ideas on how to teach both masculine and feminine forms of composition. Many of Rosenthal's students also found that they had no individualized, feminized voice of their own, this is a quote, in their efforts to enter the academy. They had been writing in flat, correct, or distinctly masculine prose. These discoveries have completely changed the way I will approach the teaching of writing going forward. I'm hoping to learn more about feminine teaching methods. I will still teach my students to write correctly, but this work gives me this new perspective that the journey each student takes is completely different to that. And our home languages, dialects, authentic voices need to be recognized, validated, and strengthened along the way. Teaching writing according to this one paradigm suppresses the student's voice in a systematic way. So I chose this graduate paper to speak about today because it's closest to my heart right now, but my studies took me in really a few other directions too. The one other thing I wanted to share with you today was this last spring I took a grant writing class. And before I tell you about that, I wanted to share just a memory from last year's convention that's really stuck with me. When former President Connie spoke about just the transformation that she had from the simple act of making her desk a standing desk. So I'm going to stand up actually while I do that. And so that really stuck with me, especially when we've been learning to work from home recently. I've reminded myself many times to stand up ever so often, but it also played a part in this grant that I wrote for my school. So I worked with the Media Center to write one step up from a standing desk. It's a bike desk or a pedal desk that you literally can pedal while you work and read. So I developed what's called a read and ride program. And when it's been done in elementary and middle school, but I designed it for high school to get these pedal desks to promote health and wellness, movement, bring more engagement to a voluntary reading practice. I wasn't able to submit the grant due to COVID, ready to be submitted at any time. So as you can tell, this graduate work has been interesting, it's been fulfilling, it's been productive and relevant to my practice, and I'm halfway there. So I'm looking forward to continuing it, even though we have changes ahead, and it means the world to me to have such a strong organization support in doing so. So thank you very much.
Wow, Kristen, it sounds like you're already just doing some amazing work. So thank you for sharing with us. We look forward to hearing more from you because I definitely feel like you are a rising star. So thanks so much for sharing with us. And speaking of sharing with us, I want Catherine Deaton to share next. She is our 2019 Doctoral Scholarship winner or awardee. And I can't wait to hear a little update about what she's been into. Go ahead, I'll make sure that you get unmuted and see if we can hear a little bit about what's going on with you.
So since I saw you guys last, I have dug a lot deeper into my research. And when you're getting a doctorate, you can take a lot of different routes with your dissertation. And at the University of South Carolina, we are urged to do an action-based research, which means that we are tasked with becoming agents of change. And obviously, with the current political climate, it's more important now than ever for us to not just realize our influence on our students, but on the system as a whole. We cannot change education. We cannot change our classrooms. We cannot change our country unless we start to advocate for the things we believe in. So one of the things I've been working towards with my dissertation is advocating for the arts. And so far this year, through my dissertation, we raised over $3,000 for an Australia Relief Fund. Through working with the World Wildlife Fund of Australia, we made shirts and t-shirts that we sold. We got national news coverage. We actually ended up getting international news coverage. We worked with a multicultural festival. I work in a very predominantly white rural area, and every year we do a multicultural festival where we create murals and community-based art that exposes the members of our community to different cultures, different ways of thinking, so that we can embrace everyone as a whole. And then most recently, I've worked with creating a pandemic art project to use art as a advocacy for mental health, emotional health, learning to take care of yourself and take time for the things that matter. So if I had to say anything to the people who are watching this, please understand that as an educator, your voice is big and it is as far reaching as you're willing to throw it. When we started the Australia fundraiser, we expected to make $100. And then we made the local news, and then we made the national news. Then we got featured weirdly on the Weather Channel. But in the end, we had people from China and London and Australia reaching out to us. With this pandemic project, we've had 5 states, different states contribute to it. So I think the biggest takeaway I've gotten from pursuing this doctorate that this organization has helped me to get is that my voice can make a difference, and that we as educators need to be those agents of change that make the system a better place, not just for us, but for generations to come. So thank you to Delta Kappa Gamma for awarding me this scholarship so that I can pursue my education and try to be the change I want to see in the world.
That was so motivating. Oh my gosh, between Kristen and Catherine, I just feel so encouraged right now. You all are just what I needed. So thank you so much, both of you, for sharing. I just feel like standing up and saying justice for all. So thank you. With everything that's been going on in our society in the last few days and with the pandemic, your work is important work, and Kristen, your work is important work, and we together do important work for each other. So thank you for including me and just being able to hear that good stuff that's happening. I'm so excited. So speaking about some more good stuff, it is my privilege to announce our 2020 scholarship awardees. And I will start with our name change for this year. It was the 2020 NC DKG Post-Baccalaureate Scholarship. So we changed the name from Masters because we wanted it to be a little bit more inclusive in terms of making sure that people who were going for additional certifications after their post-baccalaureate work could also apply for this scholarship. So there was a name change with the scholarship. And with that, we get to hear a little bit from our 2020 post-baccalaureate awardee, which is Amanda Moose. So Amanda, tell us a little bit about what your plans are once you get your scholarship award.
Thank you so much to NCDKG for supporting me through the scholarship this year. I really appreciate it. Financially, it means a lot to me and my family, as my husband is also going back to school. So we are a back to school kind of family. I plan to use it this fall to continue working on my instructional technology certification for my facilitator license, my 076 licensure. And so I plan to take 2 classes this fall, and they are designing instruction for the digital age learner and also professional development to create systematic change. So as we, of course, through the pandemic are moving through everything online, my degree has really helped out with that. And I'm looking to furthering that this fall with some more classes. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yay, Amanda. Well, we can't wait to hear more about the results of some of that awesome work and hear that you've received that certification. Hopefully we'll get to meet face to face, all of us, for our next convention. Unfortunately, since we had to cancel this year's, it just makes us look that much forward to next year's, right? So 2021, we're already excited about it, or at least I am. I know y'all are too. So I want to also introduce our last award winner for this year, which is the NCDKG Gilbert McNary Doctoral Scholarship recipient. And so I guess just another little, a drum roll or some kind of build up, Jessica. But let me, without further ado, just introduce Jessica Austin, our 2020 Doctoral Scholarship winner.
Great evening, everyone. It's definitely a pleasure to be here with you all. I'm truly excited to be the recipient of this award. I want to thank Dr. Cowan and the scholarship chair and the committee for selecting me. I'm truly excited because I am using it to further my education to pursue a doctorate degree in educational leadership. And so I'm currently attending University of North Carolina at Greensboro. And my research interests are on Black gifted girls. And so I want to study the resilience of Black gifted girls throughout high school. And so I'm excited to start my research. This summer, I will take my competency exam and I will submit my proposal and have to defend my proposal. And once it is approved, I can start that research. So this scholarship will allow me to continue to take classes and to move towards my doctoral degree. And I look forward to sharing my research with everyone next summer or next fall when we have our convention. Thank you again for selecting me.
Thank you, Jessica. That's going to be so awesome. I can't wait to hear all about the update soon. We also have Dr. Cowan, our wonderful president, who is trying to tap in, but is having some technical difficulties. So I'm hoping that she will be able to pop in here and give us a little special word of her own. But just in case, we'll give you some of our closed information while we wait on Dr. Cowan and hope she can pop back in with us. But if you are inspired like I am by these wonderful scholarship recipients, and you would like to pursue a little bit more professional growth and pursue maybe another degree or some kind of academic certification of your own, we are here to support you as your sister in DKG, and we want to be a part of your journey. Please let us be a part of your journey by applying for these. Like I said, we have expanded our master's scholarship to include a post-baccalaureate opportunity. So it's now called the post-baccalaureate scholarship because I know many of us in North Carolina have ceased a little bit of the pursuit of master's work because North Carolina, as in the state of North Carolina, is not really recognizing that with an increase in any pay scale like they used to in the past. So if there are other things that you want to pursue outside that for your professional growth, this scholarship can be there to help support you in that time. Also, don't forget the doctoral scholarship, which stands as is and is a great opportunity at $4,000 toward your doctoral scholarship studies. So thanks again to all of our 2019 and 2020 awardees. We are lucky to have you in NC-DKG, and I am lucky to have you as my friend. And some of you I just saw face to face, at least for the first time tonight, but you're now my friend right here. A lot of love coming toward you, and hopefully, literally, your check is in the mail. Since I won't be able to hand it to you right here. Your check is in the mail. So thanks so much. And I want to say congratulations again. Any last words? Okay, everybody give me a thumb up.
Congratulations.
Oh, good. I got a congratulations. There we go. And we'll wave goodbye. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you so much and congratulations. Bye. Good night.